Hello guys, Packin here, and what I have with me is my m1730 that I've worked on, and as you can see here, the AC adapters reads none. Even though it is connected, my battery supply is here. It is a genuine Dell AC adapter for my m1730, and as you can see from the back, it is connected right there. And I take it out and I put it back in. There you go, everything is in place. Light is on, and as you can see, it hits none. Let's see if I were to put it again, if I take it out, right? Okay, it's none, and I put it in. Let me. Okay, so whatever I do, it would not work. Now, because I've replaced the motherboard, and I know that the power jack is not the issue, it's most likely that the AC adapter is having these issues, and I'm going to show you guys how I fix it. So let me escape that, exit it. Now it's running off of my charged battery, and it allows me to have a full performance of a 2.8 gigahertz. It's running on a Intel Core 2 Duo X9000. It is a mobile chip processor that's able to overclock. It is the last of its kind that can overclock for a Core 2 Duo processor. So this is actually one of my favorite machines. Now, the problem is that this AC adapter has a third wire. If I were to take this out, there. See that pin in the middle? That's the real issue. Now, many of the forums have stated that they encountered problems where it is not reading this adapter because it's not reading the third wire correctly. And that would be mostly the real case. Now, what I have to do is that I'm going to take this out and make sure it's discharged. Okay, and I'm going to take it over to my bench. This is a revision A02. The A02 is most likely have an issue where there are those plastic gunk that probably loosen up the third wire, which supposedly be soldered in place, but somehow it probably snapped off due to age or constant pulling, and that could be the real issue why it's not working correctly. So, and as you can see, I already took out 4 rubber stoppers, and I placed them over here in this white little sticker. See that? Now, what you need to do is we're going to test for continuity. We're not just going to, take this out and solder it. You want to make sure that the wire is connected all the way through, because what if the wire is snapped over here? Now, if you were to take this out and the wire is still soldered, then you wasted your time having to rip this open and do more work, having to rip this open. We don't know what, if the wire actually has continuity. So we have to take this out, and we have to test from this end to the place where it is soldered onto. So you will need a security type torque screwdriver. So you would use the one like this with a hole like that. So you need that one with a hole. And what you have to do is to just open all four. And I've already taken the liberty to take out the other two, and I'm just going to take two more, this one, just to show you guys that it's relatively simple to do. After taking out the two screws, in here and over here, we're going to take this out. I use rubber gloves so that I would prevent myself from electrical shocks. This has been discharged about a good 5 minutes. Less grease and grime on my fingers to the electronic board. Alright, so this is what you get. What's inside? It is housed by a protective layer of heat shielding. So let me okay. I think I could see it. Okay. I don't need to take this apart to know that there's a wire here, that's a red wire in here, that is the third wire, which is the one that plugs in here. Now, I don't know if I can show this on camera, but there is a red wire. You see that red wire right here? That's the red wire you need to look for to see if it's connected to the third wire. So you need to see if this board is this red wire is connected fully throughout the whole unit. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to place this thing down and try my best on camera to show you how I do it. So I'm going to take this Centec digital multimeter you could get from Harbor Freights. They're relatively very inexpensive, and I'm going to keep this at 200 ohms. And this doesn't produce any sound. I just go by the reader and to read for continuity. And I'm gonna place this down. Well, I have space on it best I can. So I'm gonna put this on. All right. Now, if I put these two together, there's a signal. All right. So to test, if you're very new to electronics and you're getting used to it, you could try to take a test. I have this 4-pin Molex connector, and I'm going to put one end. I'm going to take a positive. Doesn't matter which end. I'm going to stick this over here, and I'm going to take the other end, and I'm going to test I'm going to take this end, stick this on, and I'm going to put this to see if this has a signal. So this is the third one. Oh, no signal. That's not the one. That's not the one. So this could be this one. There you go. See that? It's this wire. So this third wire to my right is the wire that goes to this wire that I sticked on. So that's how you test for continuity. You just want to make sure that the wire is actually is going through the whole thing. And we're going to be testing for continuity from this part of the base all the way to the end over here. Okay, so I'm going to take this this black ground. You could use a positive or ground, doesn't really matter. I'm going to stick this on right here. Leave this on like that, and I'm going to take the other end like that. The third wire that I did, and I connect this thing to the pin in the middle to the wire that connects to the board. It would not read anything. But if I were to connect this thing, if I were to put my my probe into the side of the inside, it will jump. This thing would jump because what happened is that the metal in here is still receiving electronic signals over at the inside of the port. so you can still get readings from the inside. So try to keep your instruments in the middle of the, the best that you can. That's for continuity, so it doesn't show that that it works. So that means that there's a break in this part over here. Now I don't know if it actually has a wire that's actually cut somewhere in the middle, cut anywhere in here and here. It could be a break in here. For all I know, it could be a break in here. So we're gonna take a chance, and we're just gonna slice this thing open and take a look for ourselves if there is a disconnect in the third wire. So let's put this down and turn this off. And yeah, we're gonna need to cut this open. All right, I'm gonna use a scalpel tool, and we're gonna cut a perimeter just from this end to that end to expose the wire inside. About 90% of the time that this is most likely a crack in the solder, or they don't use enough solder. And I think that Dell addressed this issue, that they have a problem with their AC adapters failing. So what I'm going to do, so I'm going to gently just slice in the middle, very slowly. You don't want to cut the inside. Now each of these things have silicone protection, and I want to reuse the silicone protection so that I can put it back the way it was, and the silicone protects the wire as I put it back. So I wanna keep that. Carefully not cutting the wire in the process. I just want to cut the plastic, not the wire. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to take these shavings off. Now, as you can see, when you pry this thing open, you notice that there is a silicone protecting this this third wire. So what you need to do is to expose it and cut this further. So what I'm going to do is to work around with the material. Alright, just work around it. I see a crack, see that? I see a nice little crack, so I can take this apart. And that's what you want. You want to work with what you have. You don't want to, break this any further. You want to just work with what you have. And after a good 15 minutes, I was able to take out this silicone or some kind of plastic housing that keeps the thing in place. I had to literally, rip out the inside out and able to expose where the red wire was supposed to be in the center of the adapter. So this is the wire that connects to the inside to tell that this this adapter is a genuine Dell 230 watt power adapter. It will tell you that it's genuine, and it would read that it would accept the 230 watts. But because this wire is disconnected, it was not able to send a signal from the middle of the wire, and thus they would think that this this adapter is not genuine, it's not authentic. So it is important to have this thing in the middle. So to do that, you have to cut, you know, this piece out and solder it in the middle. So before I do that, I'm gonna take this thing where it came out from, and what we do is that I'm gonna create a perimeter. So when I put it back, I'm gonna put it back the way to the way it is, but I need to create a little housing so that the one I soldered in is gonna fit in nicely, instead of having to be put back with glue on. So I want to create perimeter by cutting this piece. You don't need this gunk. Just gonna rip that out and toss it. Alright, so I'm gonna see the plastic. If I need to cut a little bit more, cut a little deeper, I can. I'm gonna cut a little bit more so it fits when I solder it in place. Alright, so I create perimeter over here. That's fine. Alright, so I'm gonna do two things to this. I'm gonna solder this, the power that connects from the ground terminal to the AC adapter, and I already have the positive. It's soldered in nicely, but this thing is loose, so it needs to be resoldered, and I wanted to cut a piece of it off so I can solder this in place. And I'll be using a fine electric rosin core solder and dispenser. So I'm gonna go and solder this thing in, and then cut a little piece of this out. So what I do to take this out, if you don't have a wire cutter, and I don't recommend using a wire cutter, I would probably just use a scalpel tool and just cut a little bit around it. You just have to be very patient and be very careful with the scalpel tool. You don't want to cut too much, because you only have a very tight space from here to here. And gonna cut it like so. You gotta make it out and then rock it. You're just rocking in. You just need to rock back and forth so you don't cut the wire inside. Alright, and basically after you're done, you pull it out and you expose the wires, and I'll show you the next segment once I'm able to prepare everything. So see you soon. Okay, we're back, and I have my soldering tip. It's already been pre-timed. If you want to know what pre-timed is, you have to use a soldering core and just tim the front edge, so that you know that when you're soldering something, the contact of the point is gonna flush against the metal surface of the port. So we're gonna try it again. I'm gonna tim it again and see if it's activated. There you go. Alright. I'm going to try my best to solder on camera the best that I can. It's really difficult. I don't want to cause an accident, so there you go. And I need to solder this point over here. Okay, so I was able to solder it in place. It may not be a nice job, but it's actually staying in one place, so it won't move. So another part is that I'm going to tim this wire, this red wire, and I'll just do it that way right now. Put it against it, and so. That is how you tim the wire. Just like that. Now that it is timmed, I'm going to properly insert it to the middle section of the adapter. So I'm going to take a tweezer and I'm going to, here's a tweezer. There you go. And I'm going to gently, hopefully, gently to just insert, well, this thing has to be inside here. Okay. This thing has to go inside, touching the metal piece. Like that. I'm gonna like that. This sleeve is no good. It keeps bouncing around. Can't have that. Alright, so what I'm going to do is that I'm going to leave my tweezer out like that. Let it hold. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to let it hold and then solder it. I'll give you the end result. Okay, there you have it. The red wire has been soldered in place. It will not move. The contact is all there. So if I use a tweezer and try tugging it, it will not move. That's what you want. You want a solid connection. So the solid connection where this thing will not move, stay in place. Alright, so it's a solid connection. You can see here. Okay. I'm going to put back the plastic housing. This is perfect. Yeah, that's a perfect job. Alright. Okay, this is the result. As you can see, I just put the housing back in. And then right now, if I were to glue it, it would be like so. But we're not going to glue that right now, we just need to test it. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to put everything back in together. I don't need to check for continuity because I know it's connected. All four screws have to be put back. So, Allen wrench. There's my Torx screwdriver. Okay, it's tightened. Let's test this out. Alright, so I placed my adapter in the ground. Just to let everyone know, this is the adapter that I fixed up. It has the open end, so we're gonna test it and see if it's gonna work. So let's gonna flip this around, holding my camera on one hand. You can use my other hand to plug it in. into my outlet. Alright, so alright, so light is on, indicating that it's receiving power. And let's put this in. Alright. Okay, see this still opened? Alright, see that? We're gonna put it in just to see if it works. And looks like it's receiving power. Good. And let's turn this on. And hit F2. Okay, good. Alright, so as you can see, it is recognizing the 230 watt. So we've navigated the connection. We've checked the continuity between one end of the board to the third wire. We've established that that the third wire does not work. So we've taken it apart, sew it soldered it back in, and seal it back up, and it works. And there you have it, guys. It's not so hard to fix it, but it takes a little time. Anyways, I'm gonna come back. I had to show you guys how I sealed it back up. So we've established that it works. Okay, so I'm gonna take it apart gently. Okay, we're gonna unplug this. All right, we know that it works. I thought I was about to end my video short, but I have one more to do. So I want to make sure this is glued in, and I'll be using Q-bond. Alright, so I'll show you this process right now as soon as I put this in my tripod. Okay, I'm going to move this tripod over here so you can see how I am able to fully make it more aesthetically pleasing. I'm going to have this thing right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a Q-bond, and I'm going to smear across the front. We're going to work from this end. We got to clamp it, and we're going to work it from this end to this end. So we're going to, instead of having it all in one shot. So luckily I already have one that's used, and I use the rice as my absorbing packet. And I'm going to take this Q-bond. Alright, I'm just gonna dab it. Two drops. Alright. Okay, you can use this thing to smear it across the crevice of the area. Alright, this is hard with the camera. I usually do this easily without a camera, but I'm just doing it for educational purposes. Okay. Alright, looks like it's there. I'm going to take a wrench and clamp it down. Like so. So take that and then take a rubber band so that it ties up. And let that sit. Okay, let that sit. So that's the first phase. You want to clamp it down like that so it won't move. And we'll be back. Okay, after a few minutes, as you can see, it's sealed up pretty nicely from the front. I'm going to take the glue, and I'm going to do the rest from the back, so I can reach up to the middle. I'm going to take my Y tie. I'm going to smear it across the Y tie. Alright, so basically I'm going to glue it all the way from the front, back, to the middle, and I'll show you the end result. Okay, so after applying all the glue, as you can see, it has a nice tight fitting, and it will not come out. Now I just want to have a precaution where I don't want to see you know, this kind of thing aesthetically, so I'm gonna put a little shrink wrap. There you go. So we're gonna fit this in like so, and I'm gonna use a heat gun. And there you have it. A nice heat shrinked adapter. So you gotta let it cool down before you use it. You see it's nice and hot. Just gonna let it cool down, but that's all there is to it. Anyways, that concludes my video. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you find this informative. Alright, so back and signing off. Bye.